Junk food is the new tobacco. We aren't saying this. One of the world's leading experts is. Professor Carlos Monteiro of the University of Sao Paulo is making headlines everywhere. He says that junk or ultra-processed food should be sold with tobacco-style warnings. Why? Because there is a growing evidence of the risks that it poses. So what risks do such foods carry? Can tobacco-style warnings help reduce junk food consumption? We will discuss this, but first let's talk about the basics. What is ultra-processed food? It refers to food that has undergone multiple industrial processes. Basically, food that has been beaten to a pulp, then covered in flavors and colors. Such food is both ready to eat and tasty, at least usually. This makes it a convenient choice. The obvious examples are burgers, chips, chocolates, and fizzy drinks. But did you know that baked goods, protein bars, and yogurts also fall into this category? Study after study says that ultra-processed food is unhealthy. Its risks have been heavily documented. In fact, ultra-processed food is directly linked to 32 diseases, be it mental, respiratory, cardiovascular, or gastro. Name a disease, and junk food most likely makes it worse. It increases risk of obesity by 66%, of cardiovascular disease by 50%, type 2 diabetes by 12%, mental disorders by 53%, depression by 22%, and it is also linked to asthma and cancer and increases the risk of death by 21%. This is horrifying. Yet the consumption of junk food is on the rise across the world. The UK, the US consume the most ultra-processed food in the world, followed by France and Sweden. India is 13th on the list. For people who are younger or poorer, junk food typically comprises 80% of their diet.
There is an estimate of $1 trillion cost of the obesity epidemic for 2030. There is also an estimate of a 3% loss in gross domestic product. So simply, countries cannot afford, and particularly lower income countries cannot afford to have such an epidemic affecting them.
So this is not an individual's problem. It's a policy issue, which is why Professor Monteiro suggests that it is time for harsh measures. He has called for a ban on sales of junk food to schools and hospitals. He has urged that fresh foods be subsidized and that tobacco-style warnings are given on ultra-processed food packaging. He has drawn parallels between ultra-processed food and tobacco companies. After all, both cause numerous serious illnesses. Both can lead to premature mortality. Both are produced by transnational corporations, which make huge profits from selling products that can be addictive. And makers of both lobby against regulation. So the parallels make sense. But can tobacco-style warnings work to curb consumption of ultra-processed food? Have such warnings worked for tobacco? Yes, they have been more than successful. Health warnings on tobacco packaging are one of the most cost-effective ways to curb smoking, especially when they combine text and pictures. They have proven to be incredibly powerful in increasing public awareness of the serious health risks of tobacco. They have proven to motivate users to quit and also to reduce the appeal of tobacco as a whole. Such warnings are so successful, there have been calls to use them elsewhere as well, like on climate-damaging products or on social media. Now, only time will tell if they are employed to curb the consumption of ultra-processed food. With junk food displacing healthy diets globally, it may be time for some harsh measures.
Obviously today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power,
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Eric Ham, coming to you live from the nation's